Say, whatever became of that bad robot Superman film that is to be written by a racist? Well, I hadn't heard a whole lot about it lately, and then all of a sudden, the potential plot has leaked. Now, whether it's true or not, who's to say? But what the hell? We'll take a look at the leak. So here we are at Cosmic Book News that has the rundown for this supposed list of plot points for the bad robot Superman. So, yes, supposedly this is what's in the script that Ta-Nehisi Coates has turned in. So, there we go. Now, initially it was assumed, because Ta-Nehisi Coates is a racist and race hustling is his profession, that this would be a black Superman, and he would have to go up against white supremacists and that sort of thing, and that would be the movie. And there was talks about it being similar to the Christopher Reeve movie, and would be a period piece. So it would be sort of the Christopher Reeve movie, except it's just everybody's race swapped and that sort of thing. And I don't know, maybe Luther would be the leader, the Grand Wizard of the Klan or some crap like that. Who knows? But apparently that's not the case. According to this, it's not a period piece, and Superman is not necessarily going to be black. So, So it appears that perhaps if this is all true, then Michael B. Jordan's Val Zod story would be the only black Superman film that they're working on. So anyway, here we are at the list. So number one, while the project was originally intended to be a period piece, the final draft submitted by Coates recently is not a period piece. Period. Well, we don't know yet, but if this rumor's true, then that's the case. So, point number two, it's not about a black Superman being a victim of racism. Rather, it uses Superman's alien heritage as a parallel to racism. Yeah, they suddenly remembered that Superman's an alien. So, even if you did cast a black man to play him, he's not a black man of Earth, so he doesn't have the same experience. Of course, he would have grown up as a black man, but ultimately he would not really be, a human being from Earth. He would be this alien bud. So, let's, we'll make it metaphorical or what have you. And so there you go. They are, however, going through with colorblind casting. So that leaves it open that could still be a white guy playing Superman, though I doubt it. Although, one of the other little nuggets was that possibly that Henry Cavill could be cast in this role. It just wouldn't be the same Superman that he played in the Snyder films. So, point number three, Superman is heavily nerfed, being taken back to his Golden Age roots, just not the Golden Age time period. So he can no longer fly, but he can instead leap tall buildings in a single bound. He also lacks heat vision, frost breath, and X-ray vision. He's also described as moving at Mach 7. So yes, the original Superman, all the way back in Action Comics 1, didn't have all those familiar powers that he's had for decades now. He could leap the 1/8 of a mile, I believe. And so, hence the leap tall buildings in a single bound. And he was super strong, of course, and bullets could bounce off of him, but exploding shells could possibly kill him, and stuff like that. They even had a story where he got knocked out by gas and stuff like that. But, within the sci-fi foundations of the story, this kind of fits in. It has some sort of credibility if you consider Krypton being a bigger planet. With a larger mass than the Earth does, then the gravity is going to be a lot much heavier there. And for the Kryptonians to develop and evolve on that planet, their bone and musculature would be far more stronger than ours. And so for Superman to grow up on this Earth, even though, he was a baby when he arrived and all that stuff, the evolutionary process would still be within his body to where it would be a much stronger and more powerful than the average guy. And so I don't know about bullets bouncing off of him, but he would still be much stronger. So some of that, it has a little more credibility than all the other special powers he gets, which is supposed to be because of the sun. It's a younger sun, so it's yellow, and that radiation powers him, and he draws it in, and it creates all these powers. It's still kind of like magic in that. But I don't care. I've accepted it because the powers are cool. But you're taking all this away from him, so this might be a tough sell for most people. A comic book nerd like myself knows all this stuff. And to be honest, that would be a cool, like a side project to see of that version of Superman in some story. But you've got some massive hurdles here, considering who's producing this. Point number 4, they do have descriptions of the characters in the script, which gives away their races. Lois Lane is written with an Asian actress in mind. Perry White is written as an African-American man. So I guess Lawrence Fishburne, if you're not busy, could just keep on playing Perry White. They got J.K. Simmons in the Batgirl movie, so he can just be in this one. Lawrence Fishburne could be Perry White here, But oddly enough, Jimmy Olsen is described as a freckled redhead. No race bending with Jimmy. But they could keep that going by making him gay, and then he'll be fine, I guess. But, an actual ginger gets to remain alive. Now, Zack Snyder killed off Jimmy Olsen in Batman vs. Superman. So they one-upped him on this one. So Jimmy gets to survive pretty much intact. Maybe they'll even let him have the green jacket with the bow tie and all that. But yeah, he'll probably be gay. They'll probably do that. So there you are. That's what the rumors say, that these will be race-swapped characters as far as Lois and Perry goes. But not so much Superman, perhaps. We just don't really know. The film is currently utilizing the Golden Age, once again, not a period piece, but let's go back to the Golden Age version of the Ultra Humanite as the main antagonist, although this may change. At no point in the story does he use the albino gorilla body. All right, so the Ultra Humanite was the first supervillain that Superman went up against, and it was a precursor to Luthor. He was an old man in a wheelchair, and he was bald, whereas Luthor was not bald. He had a full head of hair and was a ginger. Oh, yeah, maybe there can only be one ginger in the well, that's progress for you. But anyway, that was the deal with Luthor. So Ultra Humanite sort of, is the precursor. He was super brilliant, but he was old, and eventually his body died, but he had his brain, because, he's a super science genius, transplanted into another body. Yes, the body of a woman who was some movie star or something like that. So I guess he got her money and all that. And then the next body he chose was, yes, an albino gorilla, and has been in that body ever since. He would show up in the All-Star Squadron, which was the Earth 2, which is the world that the Golden Age Superman occupied through all those stories before Crisis on Infinite Earths pretty much wiped all that out. They've brought him back here and there in different versions of that, but for the most part, that was kind of the end of the road for all that stuff. And but this, I guess, the templates of the Golden Age Superman put in contemporary times, and then Ultra Humanite being the villain. So he'd probably be this old bald man in a wheelchair at this point. Maybe they would even do the business of he becomes a woman at the end, because, hey, what could that be a metaphor for? So anyway, point 6, the script is rather long. Oh, God, not another one. Clocking in at 165 pages. This may be due to the fact that the film is being written as an awards contender rather than a regular superhero film. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. As long as you've got the right friends, you'll get an Academy Award, because the awards have no credibility anymore. It doesn't really matter. So you could cut it down. It doesn't matter. Anyway, it portrays Superman as a champion of the oppressed. The government hates him, but the people love him. Anti-government? Why, That's not progressive. I don't know if that'll be allowed. Unless, of course, you portray the government as, a white supremacist fascist state type thing. So, finally, point 7, the film is a love letter to Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster's original comics. Just not in the time period of it, but but all the other stuff would be in place. It's also a dedication to them. Pa Kent's character is based off of Jerry Siegel, so they're going to try to make Pa Kent look like Jerry Siegel did, I guess. It actually has a dedication to a lot of writers, such as Jack Kirby, who serves as the inspiration for Dan Turpin. Yeah, the animated series did that. Dan Turpin in the animated series was pretty much Jack Kirby. So that's all well and good. And to be fair, as far as any politics, Siegel and Shuster were, well, certainly Siegel was into the politics of the day, the New Deal and all that, even though by the time Superman came out, it was pretty obvious the New Deal had failed. The war is what got the economy rolling again. But that's what he was in. There are a lot of stories. You can read that into it of what Superman's doing. And then eventually all that was abandoned. But, yeah, that kind of stuff was in there. So Superman did have some left leanings, if you want to put it that way, over a superhero comic book. But, Batman, all he ever did was fight crime, period. That's what he did. And look who's the most popular one. Well, that's another story. But anyway, so, and I don't know, was it Reddit or what have you? So that's all I know for now. I'll make sure to return when I have more info. And then McCloyne says, again, take those rumors with a grain of salt. Yeah, so, and apparently others are saying this is absolute nonsense. There's nothing to it. Which there's good and bad. I'm not against the idea of doing like a side project of a Superman film, provided we can get the other one. And with a depowered Superman, you could do this on the cheap because there's only so much money to go around. And with Zaslav there, he's going to want to rein in the spending. That's his major objective coming in because of the state that Warner Brothers has put itself in. But you look at the Joker movie, which was done on the cheap, but ended up making $1 billion. So if you could pull it off and make an interesting movie that people like, you can come out on top. And you're not risking as much because you've done it on the cheap, and he just doesn't have the spectacular powers that Superman normally has that would cost a lot of money to present with all the special effects that would require. Batman could be done on the cheap, I think, as a street level character and crime he has to deal with. That's more or less what the approach was for the Batman, which is also another side project. It's not a part of the overall DCEU and that sort of thing. But I think they did spend a lot of money on it. So this might have come out of the idea that they were going to do more of these just side projects. And this would be this alternate Superman that's not a part of any shared universe thing. And that would be fine. I just think it's got two massive hurdles. First, it's a bad robot project, which almost immediately means there's just a lot of lazy slapjob stuff kind of happen here and be crap. And it's written just by a racist. Ta-Nehisi Coates is a racist, pure and simple. And if he does good on it and he comes up with a cool idea and puts all this together, well, there's a first time for everything. But I doubt it. If these plot points are true, that would have been a good idea. It's just a shame it's in the hands of just, some bad guys. It could be an interesting approach to this as with the Joker, but Joker was probably a one and done thing. I know they want to do a sequel and all that. I'm not sure that they can follow up on that. The Batman, of course, is tailor-made to have more movies, and they've already announced Batman 2. And so I'm sure a third one would follow. And so Batman is in a better position for that sort of thing. Superman could too, but boy, is it an uphill battle with the characters behind it. So that's the sad part about it. But again, there's only so much money to go around. So my guess is the thinking, perhaps, just perhaps, is that without all of the spectacular powers, this could be cheaper to produce, and you're not as much risk, and could come out on top profit-wise. And without losing so much money, a standard Superman film could be done as well once the company has righted the ship and is on its way into profitability and can afford risk on something like a new Superman film. So that would be fine, but right at the moment, there's not a lot of money to go around. And the problem here is, again, it's got two factors in it. That's just a recipe for disaster. And that's unfortunate.
Shh. Bad reboot.